Okay, my last presentation today. This is on what says the National Cybersecurity Sports Federation has been renamed the Cybersecurity Competition Federation. As anyone who was in the last presentation was in knows, I really believe in competition. I've been involved with the Western Regional Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition. I've been involved with Cyber-Patriot. I've been involved with National Cyber League. I've been involved with US Cyber Challenge. And I believe a few things. One is we do not do this enough. And two is that we all do it in silos. And there's a need to kind of do these things together. Because we do something very well in this country. We do sports well. However, we don't do learning hands-on cybersecurity nearly as well as we can do it. If you're a 13-year-old in China and you really have a talent for hacking, there's a place for you. People's Liberation Army will be happy to take you under their wing. Chinese militia has 100,000 people that are at the top of their game in this. If you're a 13-year-old in Russia and you have a talent for this, Russian mafia will be happy to take you under their wing and develop that talent. If you're a 13-year-old in this country and you have this talent, we are at the very beginning of figuring out what to do with you. We don't know whether to be afraid of you or to help you. We have to get past that. So in July, I received an NSF grant to form a federation over competitions. So this is an overall goal. To bring together the stakeholders who believe in the value of cybersecurity competitions to work together to develop common metrics and learning objectives, common pathways, and a common set of ethics that apply to all competitions, which is what a sport does. I want to show you a few videos. This is my first attempt at doing promotional videos for the Federation, so they're very rough, bear with me. But I really want to develop a message that can resonate.
Well, in the summer, we're pretty much meeting Monday to Friday for like 4 or 5 hours.
Please go back right here because I didn't put the volume up.
How many hours in a week today?
Well, in the summer, we're pretty much meeting Monday to Friday for like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Now, we need 4 days out of the week for 3 to 4 hours.
You do about 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
So you
well, that's like 10 hours at home that I have to prepare.
is it fair to say that your kids spend as much time learning this as a team would if they were on a football team or if they were on a baseball team or a basketball team?
No, they spend more time. The reason why is that a football team, you practice. It's just like having like if you want to throw a good pitch or something, you practice until you get the perfect pitch. With this, it's like you should be perfect at Linux and then do something that completely just astonishes you, like throws you off, and you have to do research all over again. So you definitely spend more time than the athlete.
That is the coach, the mentor for Roybal High School in downtown Los Angeles. He took a team of high school kids to the finals of Cyber-Patriot last year. He has 3 teams in the semifinals of Cyber-Patriot this year. Roybal High School is not known for anything. They do not have good sports teams. They don't have good academics. they now have a team to be proud of, and it's their Cyber Patriot team. The next video is one of his students who competes.
Is those 15 to 20 hours per week you said he spent with his kids?
That is correct.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard.
What I like about it is like the environment and just the people and my coach and how we like learn different things that are gonna like not like are gonna help us further competitions, but we're also gonna carry it with like awareness. Like the knowledge that we learn here is gonna stay with us.
So the student that you just saw, I did a little bit more of an interview with her. She's thinking about going into the Air Force because she wants the chance to do technology. And she wants a challenge. And that's what this provides her. So the next one is going to be one of our students at Cal Poly, who is a student mentor for the Cyber Patriot team.
So this is a Saturday. This is a school day. You're here, going on to school on Saturday and 11 kids here on Saturday. What does that mean?
Well, for me, I was going to say when you're on a Saturday that honestly it wouldn't be cut out to the program. If you have a passion for something like that, you don't, it doesn't matter if it's a sport, it doesn't matter if it's a weekend. You're doing it because you like it, not because you really have to.
There's a difference between kids that go to school and take classes and kids that really are hungry and will live and breathe this. There's a team from Franklin High School. It's another high school that's not known for a lot of other things that went to the finals of Cyber Patriot 3 years in a row. William Wong was their captain. And I had the opportunity to spend some time with the team and with William. And William said once, he would rather do Linux than sleep. And what does that sound like? It sounds like an athlete. And I really believe that these competitions have the potential to unlock that, to really give them the passion. What the presenter, the keynote person said today, grit. I really believe you develop grit in these competitions. First time I learned about the competition was a panel that Casey was on in 2006. Casey made a statement that will always stay with me. He knows he's running the competition when the first person is puked. We know that these competitions are growing. This is a chart of two of them. Cyber Patriot, which had 8 teams in 2009, 1,537 teams this year. 225 teams in California. NCL has been growing every year. More and more kids want to do this. More and more competitions are being sprouted. In fact, I think there are more competitions outside the U.S., more CTFs outside the U.S. than in the U.S. This is growing internationally. So this is a slide that I had fun with. When I was a kid, I loved to collect baseball cards. I love stats. I still love stats. And I really believe that for cyber competitions to succeed, we need something like this. So I'm old, so I still know who this guy is, even if people don't. But what we did with National Cyber League last fall is we did the same thing. We created the player cards for the players, and just like this person has stats, these kids have stats. What I want to see happen is over a long period of time, kids can have these cards and kids can have these stats. These competitions are helping to do that. So what I want to show you is Toaster Wars, which, who knows what Toaster Wars is? Okay, so this is one that is brand new, created by Carnegie Mellon. They ran it in the spring. They didn't do much publicity. They actually sent out a mass emailing to the Computer Science Educators Association. How many teams do you think they got? Take a number. Close. They got 2,000 teams to play in this competition. So there's one, and we go down and you get 1,900 and something there. So number 11 I want to point out. Number 11 is 10 minutes from my home. Canyon High School, Anaheim Hills, California. There's a good news and a bad news to this. The good news is they finished 11th in the country. And they had a teacher that was behind this. The teacher was using the career technical education path in digital media as a way to teach them the skills to play in PICO CTF. The bad news is not only are they not playing this, but they're not playing in Cyber Patriot this year because the administration is afraid of the kids doing this. Why are they afraid? See this? What do these words mean? There's a large portion of this country, there's a large portion of people involved in education in this country, and a large portion of parents in this country that will be afraid to be associated with this because of the word hacking.
I have a colleague asked me if we should allow our students to hack. Should we be teaching our students to hack? And my response was, you got to find the holes to fill the holes.
I have two responses if someone asks me this. One is they don't need me. It's free and it's easy. If you want to do that stuff, all the tools are available and they're easy to use. The second one is what I can help is put kids on a positive path. We can nurture them, we can put them in a structure where what they learn, they understand.
And we can give them safe environments to do it.
Safe places to play. So this is something that came out a few years ago. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called Outliers, and he gave some examples. Two examples he gave, the Beatles and Bill Gates. Bill Gates got to 10,000 hours by the time he was 21 because when he was in junior high school, his junior high school had time sharing, and he lived and breathed it. Beatles got to 10,000 hours by the time they were 21 because they went to... Okay,
I know.
Go ahead.
They played in strip clubs.
That's right. For 2 years solid, 7 nights a week. They were a lousy band before they went to Berlin. When they came back from Berlin, they were ready. So who has 10,000 hours by the time they're 23? Every Division I athlete in this country. Doesn't matter what the sport is. Doesn't matter how good your team is. You play for 4 years, you're going to get to 10,000 hours because chances are you got 5,000 hours before you went to college.
Why is my W so faint up there?
Who in cybersecurity has 10,000 hours by the time they're 23? Everyone on our red team in our college competition. How did they get the 10,000 hours? Not by going to school, not in our classes. They got it on the streets. What's the difference today? It's a lot more dangerous to play in the streets. What do we do with athletes when they're 13? We cherish them. So this is the U.S. World Series, Little League World Series champions. If you're an athlete and you're really good at age 13, we think you're wonderful. In fact, you don't start at 13 if you like this. This is when you start. We need to get to the point where we can have kids learn cyber at this age and cherish them as they learn and not be afraid.
Well, they pick their own route there through video games and even just acting on their own?
Yeah. Well, when did you start?
Age 12.
Okay. And how did you start?
Finally got a new Mac and then installed Linux.
Okay. And were you doing things on your own?
Yeah.
Yeah. And were there times where you did things you shouldn't do? Yeah. Why can't we build a structure? Why can't we build a pathway? So in college we have this today. CCDC, this is our Cal Poly team. We have it in high school today. This is the Franklin team that I talked about. Here's William. So what can a 13-year-old do today? They can play. They can play Cyber Patriot. They can play Cyber Foundations. They can play Toaster Wars. We have ways for you to start at 13 today. But when I talk to kids who play Cyber Patriot, most of them haven't heard of Cyber Foundations. Most of them haven't heard of Toaster Wars. We play in silos today. These competitions promote their competitions, which is what they should do. But no one really is taking charge of promoting the sport. Casey, if you were 13 years old today, what would you play? Would you play all of these?
Yes.
We need to encourage kids to play as much as they can. So when do we start? This is a few years ago at DEF CON. Keith Alexander brought sci-fi on the stage because now they have DEF CON for kids. So you can be 8 years old and go to DEF CON now and they have things for you to do. Called her the most important person for her future. Sci-fi was 11 years old. Everyone has handles. So this is what Jeff Moss did at the same time. Same DEF CON, Jeff Moss said this. It's harder for you guys now than it was for me. That makes life more difficult for you guys because if you get in trouble now, you're screwed. We have to have environments where they won't get screwed. This is the mission statement for the National Federation of High Schools. Since 1920, National Federation State High School Associations led the development of education-based interscholastic sports and activities that help students succeed in their lives. We set directions for the future by building awareness and support, improving the participation experience, establishing consistent standards and rules for competition, helping those who oversee high school sports and activities. This is ours. The goal of the NCSF, now called CCF, is to lead the development of education-based interscholastic cybersecurity sports and activities, help students grow and succeed in cybersecurity endeavors. We set directions for the future by building awareness and support, improving the participation experience, establishing consistent standards for competition, helping those that oversee activities of competition. Not much difference. National Federation of State High School Associations is more than just physical sports now. Debate teams, music are considered to be sports under their umbrella. At their annual convention, they have a section for emerging sports. It's my goal next summer to be presenting there to present this as an emerging sport. It's going to get there. Regardless of anything I do, it's still going to get there. Kids want it too much. What's the population of gamers? Millions. There are 3.4 million girls and 4.4 million boys that play organized sports in high school. That plus the gaming population, there's going to be a percentage that would rather do this. Why? Not just because it's fun. What's the chance of going pro if you're good in football? Yeah. What's the chance of going pro if you're good in this? Yeah. Yeah. So we've had 2 workshops. We had one in August, one in December. We have working groups. We have a website. And I'll show you the website. So the website, nationalcsf.org. I encourage you to go there. I encourage you to go through it. And I encourage you to join. The work groups that we have are administration and operations, ethics and standards, learning objectives, pathways, and metrics and measurement. It's almost like a conflict of interest because of the overlap with National Cyber League, but National Cyber League isn't enough. No one competition will ever be enough. Question?
Yes. Where can someone most to actually coach these kids get the necessary skills to get back on track to actually coach?
Fantastic question. Because what I've found with Cyber Patriot is the best coaches are the kids in college that are playing college competition, because they are closest to the game. We have to put time, effort, resources into developing the coaching population. So that's a goal of us. I encourage you to stay in touch with me because I'd love to help you go down that road. We need to, through the Federation and anything that we're doing, National Cyber League, CCDC, we need to put in the time and effort to develop the coaches as much as we do to develop the players. There's a missing link for us. Yes?
I have a question. I remember when I was young, I was not happy. I was just trying to cheat at games on safe games and stuff like that. But those kids, we're going to have to do that. When they grow up, they will look for more challenging things. When will that become dangerous? When will we actually have too many of them to take care of them and might actually just get pretty much in the wild without any supervision or anything to know that keep on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I agree it's a potential huge issue. At what point will we have no need for kids with this talent? How many years away are we from filling the pipeline?
I have no idea. So you want to know the latest stats?
Yeah,
Microsoft.
Yeah.
I actually gave these. Microsoft just presented these. This isn't security, but it's CS in general. There's been, since 2000, I think a 95% decline in CS majors.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to AP score or AP class,
Say that again, a
95% decrease. Okay, in students declaring CS major. I'm doing this from the top of my head, so bear with me here on the fact.
For what period of time?
10 years.
Okay.
So since 2000, roughly, in the last 10 years. But check this fact out. This one I can't do, but it's 0.1 or 0.01% of students who are in AP classes are taking CS classes. So it kind of rates down there like if you're taking AP Japanese or AP Italian. Yes. One last fact, and then I'm done. Microsoft feels, like we've all heard here, that there are all these jobs that are going to be out there. Microsoft is already laying claim to about 33% of those college graduates. Amazon's going to grab 20%. Google will grab 33%. How much is left? These are American graduates. So it's like 5%. You know, again, this is CS, this isn't security, but I would argue the stats are probably along the same line.
The concern I have is this. that we're going to have kids start down this road, because we're working with middle schools now. And I had a donor at our university give us some money so we could expand our high school outreach. And I was bragging to him, look, we're doing it in middle school too. But he asked me this very question. Well, what happens if you start working with a middle school kid and they start getting hooked on this, and they go to their high school and there's nothing for them to do? They fall through the cracks in high school. The thing I'm worried about is that we'll start kids down this path, and they won't get the nurturing they need at the next step or the next step or the next step. I think we're in trouble then. We've got to have the ability to help kids from the beginning all the way up to the pros. We don't have that today.
I had that now with my Cyber Patriot students that I did last year. They're going into college and they're like, hey, wait a minute, I kind of figured all this stuff out when I was learning Cyber Patriot stuff last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they're bored.
Yeah. Well, cyber, it's interesting. I talked to the folks that
They're doing middle school next year.
folks who do Toaster Wars, and you know, all competitions like to say that they have the best. But the Toaster Wars folks say, well, Cyber Patriot is just a system administration competition. You know, what we're doing is real hardcore CS stuff. We have to have everything the kids need, wherever they are. We have to have them be able to go up this ladder, and no matter where they are on the ladder, we have a place for them to learn. Once they get to the next step and the next step and the next step, we still have a place. So Branch Rickey is one of my role models. Still dating myself. So people who know Branch Rickey think they know Branch Rickey because of Jackie Robinson, that he was the first person to integrate baseball. But before that time, Branch Rickey was born around 1980. He played baseball. He was a player in the early years of the century. He was a mediocre player. He was a manager between 1920 and 1925 who was a mediocre manager. But 1925, he became baseball's first general manager, and he created the farm system. At that point, there was no minor league in baseball. He was the first person to create a way to nurture talent in an organized way before they went to the major leagues. And his team, the St. Louis Cardinals, dominated baseball for the next 15 years. In fact, the commissioner kept trying to break up the farm league. So his statement was, from quantity comes quality. If we really want to be good, we need to have as many kids playing this as possible and start them young. 40 million American kids playing competitive youth sports. So who's in our federation? We have CCCDC competitions, NCL, 2-year and 4-year schools, NIST, IC Squared, DOD, DOE. We have other groups that are involved with us as well. We're trying to build something where we can agree to do things together, which is tough. But NCAA, with all its problems, is a federation over college sports. National Federation of State High Schools is an umbrella over high school sports. CIF is the California Interscholastic Federation. That's the umbrella over California K-12 sports. CIF started in a basement in Pasadena in 1914. They celebrated their 100th anniversary. Somebody's going to put together the umbrella because it's needed. So I'm very excited about having a chance to be part of this. And I'm very excited about working with you. Please visit the website. Consider joining a working group. Consider being part of our next workshop in the summer. Consider becoming a member. Membership is free. The only obligation is that you participate. Any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the Cyber Patriot. So I know LA was pretty heavily represented in this model. So what are some of their factors? Is
What?
They almost kind of doing this? Or?
Yeah. LAUSD is unique. LAUSD is the second largest school district in the country. They're not a well-run school district. They've got all kinds of problems, everything that a big bureaucratic district has. But they have an after-school program. The after-school program for LAUSD Beyond the Bell has funding, has an opportunity to do things district-wide. And one of the people at the upper levels of Beyond the Bell is ex-Air Force. He is the president of the AFA chapter for Los Angeles and believes that this can make a difference for kids. That there are kids for whom this is the reason they'll go to college. That's how. Success breeds success. So LAUSD in 2011, 2012 had 2 teams each year go to the finals. 2013 they had 4 teams go to the finals. So now there's an expectation that we're going to be good. We should have the same thing in every school district. So I have another story to tell you. Governor of Texas. Who's the governor of Texas? Perry. So does Perry like to brag? Perry likes to poach. He likes to go to Maryland and say that I can take your companies, and he likes to go to California, I can take your companies. So Bernie Scotch is the commissioner for Cyber Patriot. And I have talked to Bernie on a number of occasions. Bernie told me that he had a conversation with Rick Perry. Rick Perry said in a couple of years, every high school in Texas is going to be playing in Cyber Patriot. Every high school. So I'm a little bit of a competitive guy. And I'm friends with the Chief Information Security Officer for the state of Texas. So I stay in touch with him. He told me a few months ago, I'm going on this barnstorming tour through Texas to drum up support for Cyber Patriot. So I started comparing how many teams in California are playing Cyber Patriot to how many teams in Texas are playing Cyber Patriot. 225 California, 190 in Texas. So I was reminding him of that. And then I said, I'll see you in the finals. But it's a good type of competition.
Sure.
And anyone who enjoys sports understands the goodness of competition. Who's going to win tonight? Auburn? We'll see. Yeah, against Florida State. We get caught up in this. Imagine if we get just as excited over kids playing cyber as we do about kids playing baseball and football and basketball.
We have a great intra-state rivalry. I mean, CCDC and all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I wish I knew who some of the other schools were. Like, scored with the Illuminators.
I don't know who's a kind of sort of Mount Sac kind of. They're the ones that.
Sure. Well, we can tell by the names of the teams what schools they belong to.
Yeah, because they have handles, right?
I looked up the one, and it was like an IT, like a user group. I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, okay. You weren't in the school, then?
No, well, they were, but it was all extracurricular. I don't remember who they were. But that was MTL stuff I'm talking about.
And not all music school names.
No. So it felt very boring by putting mine in as well.
Now that we're in the semifinals of Cyber Patriot, we can see where the teams are from. Before, now we didn't know. But that is a key point of the success of what we're doing, to have identities. So these are the semifinal teams. And these are the Roybal teams. So California has something like 13 teams in the open division, and then there's Texas. But for those in our community, this has a coolness factor. So which high schools did you work with for Cyber Patriot?
Well, it was several. It was part of a dual enrollment group of core students that we're doing. This is the first time we've done this. We actually did Cyber Patriot as a class, or it was a cyber defense class.
Yes.
And we did not, I don't want to say we did poorly. We were in the top, 20-ish%, but we didn't do well. And last year, I mentored a group of students, Civil Air Patrol students. And they did phenomenally well. And they came in at nights and on weekends. We opened the doors, we practiced. They did really well, and they made it to the semifinals. But these guys that are in my class, they're not as motivated.
So there's a difference between, well, I'm going to class to learn this, or I'm going to learn this.
Right. Yeah, I thought so.
Perhaps the pathway that you talked about, the Federation helping to define, will turn out to be that there'll be some kind of cybersecurity hygiene class, academic program, but the way in which you'll just vision that you have is extracurricular.
And maybe the equivalent is, may not be the best equivalent, but maybe it's like PE versus I'm on the team.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's got to be extracurricular, otherwise you're not going to be fostering the people there for different reasons.
I've had this conversation many times, extracurricular versus curricular. And I really believe in the value of curricular, but I really believe in the passion of extracurricular.
I thought it was going to be great. I really did. It was okay. But they were just not as passionate as the people who were giving up their time, who had skin in the game. They were giving up their family time and their free time and stuff like that to come in and practice.
The point that was raised earlier, I want to go back to. So, this is Yenny Yee. Yenny is still involved with Franklin, but she's not the lead coach. She was the coach for 3 years. So what do you think happened after 3 years? Burnout. And that's a real concern. Did you get paid for working with those teams?
My boss did what she could to help offset some of my time I put in and things like that.
So
but not really.
Yeah, most of the time, those involved with coaching a cyber team, they're doing it as an add-on to everything else they're doing, and they're doing it unpaid.
I use a lot of Google Hangouts. That's what the students decided that the meeting would be. And we spent countless hours on just Google Hangouts talking about not only how to solve puzzles and capture flags and best techniques, but then we started talking about IT careers. Where could they go and what they were doing in their classes and basic roadblocks that they had.
Yeah.
And so we became like a little family house going home. And as soon as I got home, there would be a Google Plus message from me. And this would go on until midnight, when I actually had to tell the students, I have to go to sleep. I don't know. And then at 6 in the morning, I'd wake up, there'd be another Google Plus Hangouts message. And that's how, I don't think they slept.
Yeah. I think the best thing to do there is to tie it in. I mean, anyway, you can tie it in retention at the college, and then you can tie it to some kind of financial reimbursement for us.
Right.
To help that along a little bit. But
and what's interesting with the LAUSD thing is that there's a bonus clause. So a coach that gets the team to the semifinals gets a certain amount of money, not much, and a coach that gets the team to the finals. Yeah. So they're trying to have the incentives. You're going to say something?
Well, this perhaps also, with the whole burnout and the extracurricular pieces, this would be a nice tie for professional associations. So like the Information Systems Security Association or the ISC squared, right? These professional security organizations above professionals in the field they're always looking to get involved somehow, right? And perhaps that's a really nice tie. Dan and I have had this conversation. It's a nice tie there that perhaps they can become mentors, they can be coaches, they can be support because you can only do so much, right?
The only thing that kept me going was every Saturday that I was in, I was like, oh look, guess who Brian's working? He's on lunch.
I agree. So Virginia and I went to the meeting of the San Francisco ISSA chapter last year. They handed out a scholarship. So they handed out a scholarship to Skylar Rojas, who's at Berkeley. Skylar Rojas was with Franklin High School the first day they went to the finals. Skylar goes to Berkeley and forms the cyber defense team. So basically his qualification for the scholarship is what he's been doing with competitions. But what I want those chapters to do, don't think in terms of a scholarship, think in terms of a stipend for the team that you want to support, the same way that you go into a pizza parlor and you see the plaque on the wall that the pizza place or the local business is supporting the local team. It's a model that can work. It's ridiculous to me that you call yourself a professional association in cyber and you don't get that. That you think, well, maybe we should have a night for students to go to our meeting and leave it at that. This is such an opportunity to nurture those into the field.
But I do give recognition from my colleagues. I sent information about how we placed in the National Cyber League to our Public Information Office, our president, and we didn't get a blurb in the school newspaper.
I didn't this year either. Last year we did. We got pretty good recognition. This year I got nothing like that.
And I feel really bad because these students are really, they're going to come out and deliver a lot more to the community than any of our sports programs ever will.
I agree.
Well, what might be a solution there, though, is if we can disseminate that between us, because sometimes if constant contact or something goes to your administrator from an outside organization recognizing your team, it triggers a lot more ways in a lot of cases. That's something we could probably help with, you know. And that's something we could easily do, too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's getting the word out. So I'm president of the San Diego ISSA chapter, so I use that as a bully pulpit to get the word out. The Orange County team, they adopted the team for the San Diego Mayor Cyber Cup, same thing. So a lot of it's getting the word out and making sure professionals know that it's okay. It's fun to mentor the kids. A lot of them, you know, they're all busy, but let them know how much fun you see the successfulness.
It would be such a feather in any professional association's cap to be sponsoring a team that was successful in a competition.
Well, not to mention there has the potential to recruit the next generation of professionals into the association, and there's a lot to what's in it for them above just the whole giving back part. So I think it's a easy sell.
That's great. I'm done. Thank you.
Thanks.